Alrighty, welcome back everyone, it's Garland here bringing you another Neverwinter video, and we are on week 4 of Portobellos Campaign. The week 4 instance or dungeon is Strain Things at Burrow in. So we're going to queue in with a full group of randoms. This dungeon is the longest out of the 4, and as I've mentioned in a previous video, it is kind of obsolete as you can't get the Beholder unfortunately. So you zone in and you have to talk to Flabbergast, which is up here to the right. And he will initiate the first cutscene.
Is that a joke? Your
mom. Like I said, this is a longer dungeon of the 4 previous. It's a little mixture of all the dungeons combined, basically. So the first phase is we're just going to kill waves of enemies for 2 minutes. They will spawn over there to the left where my teammates are going, and they do spawn over here to the right. So we're just going to hang out on the right side. And for 2 minutes you just have to kill the waves that do spawn. No big deal. Like I said in a previous video, the video before this one on week 3, this dungeon is obsolete too. As I mentioned, you can't get the legendary drop out of this dungeon rather. So the only one you should farm really is week 2, and if you watched my last video on the Rage and Rant, well, that's up to you if you want to continue to try to farm it or not. What they should have done is add maybe drops to each of the dungeons, that way people would actually do them, because like I said, Dungeon 3 and Dungeon 4 are pretty much obsolete. There's no reason to do these except for the lore of the game. But this one isn't too bad. The first phase is you kill waves of enemies. The second phase is you kill some more enemies. Then you have to kill the boss of the next phase, which is going to be the Beholder. And then the third phase is another boss phase. And then the final phase is the final boss. You can actually sort of glitch the Beholder here in this dungeon as well, not in the way that I've mentioned before, but you can actually bypass the wait till your group gets there and kill the Beholder. If you're fast enough, you can bypass the door, which I'll try to show you guys. I mean, it's not game breaking or anything, of course, but I mean, it's just a silly little glitch that I don't understand how it should even be in the game. But alright, so that's the first phase complete. You want to continue down the path and kill the slaves. So there's a group of slaves over here to the far left. And then there's another group over here to the right. Now, as I mentioned, you can, if you get down here fast enough, you can actually glitch this out, like I said. So the Beholder spawns right here. So I'm going to kill this last guy. And usually a portal would spawn around here where you have to activate it to even enter. Oh, there's still another group of slave. Okay, I'm going to let my teammates destroy the slave. See? So there you go. There's a portal that now my teammates can't access. See, they're all outside. I'm in here by myself. So I'm just going to solo the Beholder real quick because my teammates can't get in. I think it's hilarious that they put a barrier up there, but there's not really a barrier. Like I said, if you just sit here and wait, you can easily kill the Beholder yourself. So they couldn't even get in here. Anyway, so that's the first phase. You enter another cutscene. The Beholder is from basically the first dungeon, the first instance of Portobellos. Now here's a scene from A Rock Falls, which is the third. Now with the second phase, you actually can either get the second boss from the second dungeon, or you can actually get the third boss from the third dungeon. It's random each time you come in, but you do have to pay attention. So if you come over here, you have to kill the portals. Okay, so the yellow one's first. The same applies to that a Rock Falls dungeon. So if we kill the yellow here, the yellow portal first, if we do happen to get that boss here next, you still have to kill him in the same order. So it looks like yellow, if I could get through here, so yellow, blue, red would be the order if we get that phase. And then you come all the way down to the end. And actually we have got a phase that I have not gotten before. So this is Defeat Daniel. So this is a different one. So there's actually 3 possible boss phases you could get here. There's the portal one. There's the Artificial's Workshop boss with the one with the sphere. And apparently there is this one as well, Defeat Daniel. Which I don't know if there's any game mechanics behind this one or not. So if you get the portal phase, like I said, you have to kill them in order. If you get the Mind Flayer with the shield, well, there is, as you can see on the screen, a green shard there to the left. You have to place those in the cylinders to bring down his shield. I think this one's just pure DPS. Oh no, okay, so this is the one from the first dungeon. You have to bring him on the platforms to bring his shield down. And apparently they don't want to move him. Like I said, I am doing this dungeon completely with randoms. So yeah, this is the boss from the first dungeon where you had to drag him onto the spheres or the plates to lower his shield. So actually in that second boss phase of this dungeon, you have a chance to get either the first boss, the second boss, or the third boss completely. So we ended up getting the first boss. So we can run all the way back to Flabbergast and we will kill the final boss of the campaign. Like I said, this instance is probably the longest of the 3, or of the 4, I'm sorry, of the 4 weeks of Portobello's campaign. This dungeon is the longest, and like I said, no one's really doing it because you can't, there's no point in doing it. But here we go. Here's the final boss of the campaign, and you should all be familiar with him. He's a big lore feature of D&D. And basically just DPS him down. I mean, there is certain animations he does, as you can see, with all the red. Just stay clear of the red like any other typical fight in the game. Stay out of the red, DPS him down. Like he's going to do his arrow attack right there, and he's down. So we have subdued him. And that's it, guys. That is Week 4 Portobello's campaign, A Strange Thing at Burrow Dawn Inn. The only thing that is beneficial for doing this dungeon is if you still are working on your campaign, you will get 6 accreditation for finish this dungeon. All the other dungeons are 4 accreditation. So, yep, you will get 6 accreditation for finishing this dungeon, and 4 accreditation for all the other dungeons. But yep, that's going to wrap it up, guys. That is the complete Portobello's campaign. This will be the final guide on it. This was the 4th instance, Strange Things at Burrow Dawn Inn. So we have covered all of them. Trial of Traps was week 1. Artificial's Workshop was week 2. Or Rock Falls was week 3. And Strange Things at Burrow Dawn Inn was week 4. So that should be all of the guides coming out for this event. I hope you guys enjoyed the event overall. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just leave me a comment below. Alright guys, thanks.